Welcome to our tutorial on how to use our seed starting and inventory guide Google Sheet that we sell in our Etsy shop. If you've already purchased this product, thank you so much. And if you haven't, then there's a link in the description. I'm not sure how you found this on YouTube, but you are welcome to be here and see this overview. As you can see, each of our sheets starts with some information and where you can get additional help if you need to. As we move forward through this sheet, I'm going to let you guys know that this is examples of how you would use it and what it would look like. Yours will obviously come blank on almost all the tabs except for the categories. So we're just going to go ahead and jump in, and we are on a mobile device today, an iPad, to show you what that looks like. You can find some other of our sheets and how to use them videos on our YouTube channel. I will also link to the related inventory guide in our description below so that you can take a look at that one. And it's on a PC, which shows a little bit more of this, but I want to show that this is also mobile friendly. So let's hop into the tutorial today. The base of each of these sheets starts with our tab called Categories and Type Settings over here. This is the one sheet that does come completely filled in and features over 150 different vegetables, flowers, miscellaneous items like grains, fruits. So you have lots of options here. Of these, I have grown 90% of them. There are some of the flowers that I picked that the flower farmers in my area tend to grow more often that I haven't personally grown. But when it comes to all of the vegetables, fruits, and most of the grains, I have grown all of them. Yes, even the wheat and barley, just in small sections. So using that information and my personal knowledge, you have a lot of information available to you already filled in. Everything from the numbers of years that you can keep the seeds, how quickly the seeds should sprout, what the harvest looks like, how deeply you should sow them, when the planting seasons are, if you have succession days, direct seed, transplant, if it's a fall garden. I even put in some notes here so that you have an idea of what you're growing. The most important part of this is every last piece of this sheet is customizable. If you don't agree with me, that's a-okay. If you think your seed viability is only 2 years, if you think that it takes a lot longer to harvest, if you think that you don't want to do succession planting or you do want to do succession planting, you can just fill this information out and it will populate through the rest of your workbook. Any item that is used in other places in the workbook does have an asterisk next to it here in the title. You can see each one of these here that have an asterisk. If you look at this bottom left-hand corner on an iPad, you'll be able to see it. It's not quite as closed down on a PC, so you'll be able to see them a little easier. But any of these that have the asterisks help auto-populate other parts of the sheet, be that the inventory or the planting plan or any of those things. Any of the ones that don't have an asterisk are in here as informational items that you can use just to help with your planting and reading, things along those lines. So what's important about this is from these categories and types that you personally type in, you help populate the rest of your sheet. So maybe you decide down here that you don't think that a gourd is miscellaneous and you want to put it in a vegetable or fruit or something along those lines. All you have to do is change the title and it will change it in the other places that you're going to use it. See, you can even misspell it. It will create an automatic new category, which I still didn't spell vegetable correct. That is hilarious. It will create a whole new category and a new type as you put in different information. I personally like miscellaneous for this, but this is how I did them. So if you disagree, you don't want to call it an herb, you want to call it a flower, you change it. If you want to make your own categories, such as greens instead of just vegetables, then that's fine too. And I'll show you how those all work. So now that you have all your categories and everything the way you want them, the next thing you do is you would go into your seed inventory. As you can see here, I have mine filled out with some information already, but maybe you just bought your first set of seeds and you want to grow a cucumber. So you go to vegetable and then it will shorten your list for you based on your first selection. So you're not having to go through 100 different things. We're going to do a cucumber. and we're going to do a lemon cucumber. And we bought these seeds this year. What's great is it automatically tells you when those seeds go out of date. And then you have some options over here. If you want to track your costs, if you want to track how much you have left, maybe you love them and you want to reorder them, and you got them from Burpee and you paid $5 for your package. You have some drop downs here, and you, whoops, amount is 1, and your cost is $5. Perfect. You've got all that filled out. You go through and you do all your seeds. Maybe you have some left over from the year before, or maybe they are done and you got rid of them, like you did all these alpine strawberries. You don't have to take them out. You can track them over time and just archive them. It'll mark them out on your sheet so you can visually see them, but it will also take them out of a lot of your other sheets, which we'll look at in a second. And maybe you used all your cilantro seeds, but you've got a few little ones left and you want to reorder them. You can see how that clicked there. And maybe you want to reorder some strawberries over here, which obviously I X'd out the wrong row, which is why you get that visual indicator there. I meant to archive the strawberries, but we'll leave it like it is. So once you have your inventory completely done, which can take a lot the first year you do it, but afterward, it's not that bad. I've actually used these sheets myself for several years. Then you can go over here and it does all types of things for you. The first thing I'm going to show you is the planting plan. The planting plan is automatically created on your category and types that are in your other sheet. And the only thing that you have to put in here to make this work is your last frost date and your first frost date. So this first one is the last time it frosts in your area and the first time it should frost in your area. So again, as I mentioned in this listing, this is for temperate zones. This does not work for your areas that don't receive frost in your equatorial regions. Sorry, I am not able to do that all in one sheet, but this one works for any of your regions that do receive a frost type structure. Then, as you can see here, once you have these dates in here, there's nothing else you need to do. Let's say that my date is actually much earlier, like I live further south, and it's 3/31 of 2026. All the dates auto-calculate again for you on when you would do them. And you have several dates to choose from. You have a date if you want to do transplants for when to start them inside. You have a date for outdoor planting, and that would be for either your direct seeded or your transplants. If a plant is a fall garden, then you can also have your dates here for your fall garden on when you would want to start those, either direct seed or transplant. You'll know from the previous column. And then if you're into succession planting, because you're a hardcore gardener, then it gives you different succession dates up to 10 sessions of those. Oh, actually, I take that back. 15. I decided to add more. And some special instructions. So as you can see here, it automatically chooses all of the ones from your inventory sheet. So that's really all there is to this sheet because it's automatically calculated based on your categories in your inventory. If there's anything that you disagree with here, then you can go change those right over in whatever area you disagree with. Let's say you know in your area that your bok choy needs to be started earlier than this and it needs to go out later than that, but these are your first frost dates. Then you just go right back over here to your category and type settings and you go to your bok choy and you just change these numbers to what makes you happy and works for your garden, because everyone has microclimates where it might change and it might not be the same. Finally, from your inventory and your planting plan, you have a couple summaries and dashboards. As you can see here, it will automatically know what year you're in and tell you, what you're doing with your years. Your top 5 companies, categories, and types are for all time. You can take a look and see, am I spending more in some years? Am I spending less? Am I buying a bunch of different varieties? It'll give you just at a glance where you stand with all of those items. And then if you had clicked on your items for your shopping list, it will go ahead and tell you exactly what you need. So you can print this out, you can have this on your phone, you can be in the store and just buy exactly what you need. It also looks at the items that are expired or are expiring, and it puts them in a list here for a suggested reorder. This means you didn't click that you want to add them to your shopping list, but it does give you options there if you're in a store to be like, oh, I forgot to add spinach to my list, but hey, look over here. I need some spinach because all of mine are going out of date. And that is pretty much how your sheet works. It automatically calculates everything. I'm going to do one last section, which is the most commonly asked questions. And this one is the biggest problem that I've seen from folks that have been using it. And it's just something that you need to keep in mind. Let's say that you've done all this work and you've set up your entire sheet and you decide that you want to change your category here to make it easier to find vegetables, greens. When you change this after you've put all your information in, you do have to do a little update here. And this is the only tricky thing. Now, if you come over to your planting plan, you may see that some things look a little weird or it doesn't come out quite right, stuff like that. The biggest thing here is to go find your bok choy that you just changed. And the easiest way to see that, you're going to come over here and you're going to be able to see right now that your bok choy has a little red mark right there where the validation doesn't work. All you have to do in here is go vegetables, greens. It's all reconciled, and then it will correctly show throughout your sheet without any problems. That really only happens if you decide to change your categories afterward, and you have to go back through and correct any of the ones that have the little red mark. I actually did that for my own personal sheet this year and ended up having to correct several of these items, but it was easy enough to run through real quick and then everything repopulated again. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial and that you enjoy your sheet. Thanks again for your purchase. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them. Again, there's always this how to use area that will get you back to the information that you need. Thanks again, and thanks for watching.